What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 84 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz campaign. So as we saw last time, Count Noctilus arrived on our coastline, hitting Lashik and then following up to attack Kofur. We just barely managed to see him off with the power of the Black Lions, War Wagons, Hellblasters. It's lucky that we actually had them available as a regiment of renown. Considering they're a fairly strong unit, this may be one that we just essentially want to permanently keep so that we can sort of summon them wherever they're needed. The silver bullets are also great, but I do feel like they will fit in with a general army. But anyway, Count Noctilus is not down for the count despite losing the battle. He still has a fairly decent half stack here and is still very much a threat that we will have to deal with. Otherwise, there is plenty of stuff to do this turn, as we still have a lot of armies to move, but before we get to it, a few quick reminders, I guess. First of all, for those interested, the Malekith SFO campaign has just begun, so that is a thing. Also, unfortunately, this campaign has begun to wane in interest a little bit. I believe the last episode received less than 50 likes. Generally, what I do when campaign interest starts to wane a little bit is either post shorter episodes or post maybe a little bit less often with regards to those episodes. So yeah, we'll play it by ear. We'll see the engagement for the next couple of episodes, and then if it continues to drop, I will perhaps switch it up a little bit. But for now we'll see. Anyway, Karl, we're gonna start with you. There's probably no reason for you to actually fight Akarak the Crow here because he's weak and pathetic, so we're just going to auto-resolve him, assuming that we can actually catch him. But it looks like he won't be going around the mountain or anything, so that is a free take. We've been wanting to kill him off for a while, so, and great for Karl. Karl, you can take, I guess, the money, because the leadership is frankly kind of useless to you, and then you can switch into encamp and start healing up. Now, I guess as to what you should do here, hey, a messenger, not bad. As to what you should do here, the question is, do we head down to Clan Ferric, who we do have to take out, but I just don't think we can leave Boris yet. He could die very, very quickly if we don't pay attention. And within the next few turns, Nud is going to be a lot closer, so maybe we'll stay here for another couple of turns. Let's stay. Maybe we'll head out to the Monolith of Festerlung. If we could give that to Boris, at least we'd have sort of a bulwark against the loss of those other territories, and in that case, be able to take them. Also, I see that Alright, Greasus is still down here, good, or at least Greasus' armies. We should probably be able to take this guy out here. Take you, please. You're gonna run. We should be able to auto-resolve this garbage little army. Just don't want it nearby where it can probably move up to Dragon's Death. Not that we actually care at all about that particular settlement, mostly because... oh wow, decent amount of damage. Mostly because we care about the enemy getting another stronghold here, or possibly reviving the faction that was destroyed, which wouldn't be great either, so yeah. You don't need an apprentice wizard, and you can return to the challenge stone as you were... oh. Well, that's not good. Okay, well, it looks like you will probably die at the challenge stone then. Although, actually, I didn't realize it, but you have yourself a fair number of other troops here. You could actually probably defend this, you know what? Oh, let's... it'll never build in time, but I guess we could give it a try. Anything we can build here in, like, quick time? No. 8 turns. I guess we could build a training field in 2 turns. Maybe we should have started with that last turn. It's a little bit too late now. I'm just looking at things that may be built quickly, but it will also provide us a garrison unit, and unfortunately those are the only 2. Once again, I do plan to trade the challenge stone away, it's just that at the current time, well, you need some stuff. You could do global recruitment and maybe get a couple of extra units in here. How about... well, I don't think any of them are going to help with you, but gotta get something in here. Something that takes only 1 turn. Halberdiers are a pretty decent choice. The Forces of Chaos don't have much in the way of range ability after all. We could try to also spend 2 turns and get mortars, but I think they will attack us next turn, so we just gotta get whatever we can. Flagellants do good damage, but they are so not very survival. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go halberdiers. I do have a tendency to just constantly build halberdiers. There you go. Alright, maybe with the challenge stone you'll be able to defend against one army, depending on if the other peels off towards the granite spikes there. Alrighty, back to whatever else we were doing. Gregor Rodziner. And Torkarali has fallen, and I believe that means... yes, we're clear here. Fantastic. No more enemies, which means Gregor can return to Bordeaux without having to worry about it. I don't imagine Demahar Festerhart can reclaim anything, and you are thus not needed here. March stance away, and oh, actually, I just thought of something. Perhaps you can then go out to sea and get some islands. Maybe that's the way to do it. If there are no other enemies here, and ooh, is this close enough to Dastan Coldeye? No, you obviously wouldn't be able to take Dastan's army, but a weak little island force you certainly can. Some actual use for you. Now, Wolfram Kusterman and Luther Graber. You guys need to head southward, probably to Zinj to help out. Well, actually. You need to be replaced, or your army needs to be swapped out. So actually, that's going to change. You're going to go this way first. And we do still have to deal with Noctilus, so you know what, we're gonna send Adolphus Kemp up there. He's gonna take his sweet time getting there, but he does need to be there. It's not a lot of troops, but it's certainly enough to defend one of these locations. And Leopold Hall, we should also probably use you to continue recruitment. Oh, we maybe could have used your global recruitment. Not enough global recruitment to go around. Oh well, what can you do? You guys do that, and I believe you two... you know what, I was gonna send them out to sea, but you know what, I think we'll travel by land instead, because we've seen their armies here as well. And then the other two armies, Wolfram Kusterman, can travel by sea. That way we have both routes to us covered. I think that'll work better. Or at the very least, I hope that it will. You have Root Marcher. You do not have Root Marcher, but you should. There we go, and we're obviously going to replace him with a Empire General, but only after we get Manorialism. We should also cancel Colonial Factors before I forget. In fact, I already did kind of forget, but oh well. And you should continue building Flagellants, because you need them in Adolphus Kemp's army. Well, actually in Wolfram Kusterman's Followers' army. It's a heck of a mouthful. Alright, well, otherwise that's good. Peter von Sigurd. Now, you are too damaged to fight a full stack, unfortunately, which means I think we need to... I think we need to land in Nahuantl and then just heal up there. So let's put you into regular stance and land near to Nahuantl. We gotta remember that these guys can jump on you and teleport and thus damage you or ambush you. And we just can't risk that. You can also channel because your mana has dropped significantly in the time that you've been at sea, which is unfortunate. But oh well. Bernhard von Sanger and, yes, Jovi or Jovi Meyer, you will need to join this army, like so. Then we are still building the demi-grips, but we can take at least the guns. This is our artillery army after all, but not the great swords because this army will just be using demi-grips as tanks until they can get steam tanks, but you know, it's going to be probably a fair while until we can do that. Alright, who else needs to move? Man, we really need more steam tank capacity. I've been building gunsmiths everywhere, guys, absolutely everywhere, but it's still needed. Let's take the Gallows Tree first, and then we'll hit the Plains of Zanbajin, just as it will prevent these guys from building up another army. And then to the Plains of Zanbajin, and back around to the Bleeding Spire, I think. And that should work nicely. I'll resolve this garbage, and occupy the place. Temporarily, yet again. Lots of temporary occupation. Featherfoe, Torque, Servant, Tradesman, Smuggler. Ooh, Tradesman and Smuggler and Student. Not bad, Nud. Not bad at all. Don't collect the income here, although the Timber Mill is actually a nice thing. And oh, huh. The Bleeding Spire, eh? Is the last settlement here. Oh man, we're so close to relieving Karl, so close. I just want him to leave so that he can go on and fight epic fights, rather than protect Boris, but, you know, I feel like I owe Boris, so, yeah. I loved his campaign so much. Let's see, you guys are gonna be good, so just sit together and wait until you're ready to go. Did I get you your points? No, Root Marcher, Inspiring Presence, and then definitely Pistol Core to upgrade all of the Pistoleers and Outriders, yes. And then a Mighty Forge to upgrade the War Wagons. And we'll get the 1 point in Rally, I guess. Probably not a big deal here, but, well, should still have it.
To the provinces.
I'm excited to try out these armies. I have no idea how effective they'll be, but we'll see. And I guess another question is going to be, where do we send them? We could try to send them towards Noctilus. Somebody needs to destroy Noctilus, that's the thing. Or else he'll come back again and annoy us again. It's a little bit annoying that he didn't go for Nuka, which has established its defenses, and he went for the less defended places, but hardly surprising. Alright, anyway, let's continue moving everybody that we can. Kurt Haldenstrat, yes, and alright, you have been sieging this and we're gonna have to fight this battle properly. They've got, or they besieged us, rather. Huh. I mean, they do have the Cold Voider here, and we probably want to avoid too many casualties. Might be worth the fight. I do have to wonder whether they'll back off or not. Let's get you some points, and ooh... You've reached this stuff, and you're a ranged army, which means you have to go for, I believe, the Vanguard. Yes, reload time reduction for missile infantry. Artillery heritage isn't bad either. Reload and ammunition time reduction, but you only have 4 artillery pieces, and you have a lot more regular range, so I guess the Vanguard is the way. Plus, the upkeep will apply to our handgunners. The missile resistance is always nice, and it's attrition reduction on top of all that. Yeah, the Vanguard really does seem like the best one, doesn't it? Just generally speaking. Alrighty, and then we'll get Ulrich Ivan the Crazy some points as well. He still has to go through this stuff, but he's actually going to be replaced. Though I do like his name. Let's get you Piercing Bolts of Burning, because it's the best spell. Oh, actually, for your army, it's not the best spell. Flaming Sword of Ruin is, because it buffs everybody up. And, you know, let's get Studious Pupil as well. Yeah, there will be occasions where we will use Piercing Bolts of Burning, but they're few between for this particular army. You are Valiant Defeat. Oh my. Oh my, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, well, this army looks like it's more threatening than it seems. Sounds interesting, and sounds to me like a cinematic. Here we go.
It will be done.
Alrighty, here we go. We may have more troops, but the enemy has, well, full HP on all of its troops, but in addition to that, some very nice elites. A couple of war mammoths in addition, are those war mammoths? Yes, feral mammoths, as well as the Cold Voider Frostworm, which is going to be an issue. A couple of units of Fimir Warriors as well, or 3 units of Fimir Warriors, I should say, and generally speaking, some nice stuff. We, however, have the advantage of range, so basically, if we can destroy them from a distance, we'll be fine, but if they break through our lines, well, it's gonna be a problem. Alrighty, artillery fire begins, though I'd say a lot of the damage of this army comes from the HOCHLAND long rifles as well, not the Nuln Ironsides, which should be in here and will hopefully eventually be in here, but aren't in here yet. We have our deployed Outriders forward, and they're trying to annoy those feral mammoths together with the cannons who are targeting them at the same time, in the hopes of destroying them. Or at the very least causing them to rout or rampage or something. Keep it up. Unfortunately, the mammoths are far, far too slow to be able to catch a mammoth, and we should be able to take that thing out. Over up here, we have an aerial battle about to begin. Kurt Haldenstrat and the Cold Voider facing off against each other. Now, this is not a good matchup for Kurt, as he has not yet been built out to be a fighter, really, so he's going to have his work cut out for him. That said, he should at least be able to distract the enemy long enough for us to not have to deal with it. In fact, he's going to pop both the Helm of Discord and Van Horstman's Speculum, forcing the Cold Voider to be doing very little damage and have very little melee defense, which is clearly needed as Kurt is already at half HP. Otherwise, it looks like the enemy Mammoth has arrived and will be charging towards our summoned Halberdiers, but will be taking so many shots from all of our various handgunner varieties, both of the ones with the grenades and the Outriders and the HOCHLAND long rifles. Alrighty, that mammoth is down to about 10 to 15% HP, and it looks like we will be switching to the second one, which is in Berserk mode shortly. Alrighty, keep it up, long rifles, it's all you. And some nice volleys there. For some reason, these guys look, their color scheme or something makes me think of Kislevites to me. For some reason, I guess they remind me of Streltsy to some degree. Not their hats, mind you. Their hats are very much Imperial, but otherwise a little bit. Anyway, looks like the balance of power has shifted very much in our favor at this point. We've been able to focus down the enemy lord, the Fimir Mirch, in the same way that we have done the enemy feral mammoths, and those mammoths are booking it on out of there. Speaking of booking it on out of there, Kurt is in horrible shape now and has distracted the Cold Voider long enough, so he'll be wavering, but also he'll be escaping instead. That's okay. He's done decent amounts of damage to the Cold Voider, but mostly has prevented it from annoying our main line, which means that we can attack it with our units of Outriders and any other units that could reach it. Looks like it decided to use its cold breath on the Free Company militia, but they're more or less fine and managed to at least a little bit dodge it. It looks like the Cold Voider is in fact wavering. Sufficient damage from those Outriders and the Free Company militia. Now it's in range of the HOCHLAND long rifles as well, so it's not going to be able to achieve much. Well done, Kurt. Even if all he did was distract it, I think that was pretty critical to this particular battle. And let's see, balance power is about 90% in our favor, and it looks like the battle is in fact ours, and we do manage to pull it off. A little bit close to our front line, mind you, but Kurt's guns spoke much louder than the enemy axes did. Just a couple of enemy brutes of the Hound remaining, a little bit of a berserker action here, as they contend with those halberdiers. Alright, just gonna charge on through them with our heavy war sled and gun him down. Somebody loses his head, and the last of the brutes of the Hound falls dismembered to the ground. Beautiful. Well done, Kurt's army. I am glad of it. Even if we did get hurt, and it's going to be a little bit of a toughie healing back here, at the end of the day, we can continue weakening Wintertooth and not having to contend with them here anymore. Plus, I always love to watch this army fight. It's still not complete because it lacks those null iron sides, but I love this whole different type of range units thing that it's got going, even though it should have Gavin's army as its supporting army with it, because Gavin's currently busy. It's going to have to contend with the enemies all on its own, and it seems capable of doing so. Alrighty, a fun little fight came a little bit down to the wire for Kurt there. We haven't really built him to be a melee fighter, so he couldn't quite take on the Cold Voider, but not to worry, the range units came through in the end. Looks like we got 19k, 11, 13, and 8, but decent amounts of damage on all the HOCHLAND long rifles, who definitely carry this particular army. Unfortunately, the damage of the heavy war sleds was pretty low here, but hardly surprising considering what that they're down to half or a quarter of their unit numbers. Usually they would rack up damage. Otherwise, the artillery took care of business as usual, and we managed to pull it off. Pardon captives? Yeah, sure. We can't heal up here, so we have not much of a choice but to pardon them, and I guess... Wait, Imperial Pegasus. Oh, right, you didn't have your Pegasus yet. And another student. Oh, well, that's just swell. We should get Theon here into this army. But... Honestly, this army could probably use both of the Net of Amantok and the Flaming Sword of Ruin are both quite useful here, but we don't have a melee army, and taking away units is kind of an ugly proposition. I mean, yeah, we could lose one of the war sleds, but I'm kind of still disinclined to do so. I'm gonna have to think about it. In the meantime, I need to destroy this army. Hopefully the game will let us auto-resolve it. Please? Okay, it will let us auto-resolve it. Beautiful. And then you're going to, I guess, take the money. Again, the Standard of Discipline is not much use to you, but I guess you can hold an Imperial Griffin. Ooh, somebody just got a lot stronger. Now, if you go into March stance, or regular stance, you can move back to Nalfari Plain. If you go into Encamp stance, you can stay out here and hit the Sarl encampment next turn, which is, I think, what we'll do. Hopefully there's not another army hidden right out there, because that would be bad. In fact, you know what? Let's put Theon out there as a scout, so that we can make sure. And ooh, wait. No. I kept trying to click him. Hey, for a free steel tech for a couple of turns. He's not a tech thief, but he can certainly steal a little bit for our time. Speaking of tech thieves, I should have moved them between the episodes. I apologize about that. I completely forgot. I did a bunch of other stuff between the episodes in my defense. So, yeah. Anyway, oh! This guy didn't land. Oh, you fool. You should have landed. Now we'll have a mage in this army, which is not what you want. We'll get rid of the weakest of the handgunners for this, and we'll put the mage in there. And now you guys are going to have a lot more trouble taking the place. They'll most likely hit us next turn before the guardhouse is built, mind you. But with this guy now in trenches, and okay, you don't need the potion of speed. Now in trenches, we are a lot stronger than we were. Fantastic. Also, hopefully, as somebody said in the comments last episode, we finally get that Confederation next turn with Wissenland. We really need Nuln's guns of the various types added to our armies. Reiser Brosh, you guys are going to keep staying here for a while. Helmet, you are staying still for a while. Balthazar Gelti. Gelti, you are headed out to Karakazgal, though I guess you are headed out there with the tanks and stuff. Let's see if we can do this right. So, Gelt, you're going to besiege Karakazgal. I wonder if there's a full stack out there. We're going to auto-resolve this because this is a waste of our time, but we're going to need to do it with all of these armies here. Besides, we're going to be trading Morgheim away, so it's not like we care about it. Aldebras Meyer, I want you to go here. Then we want Mr. Ferry to ferry. Let's see what and how. How do we want to do this? Well, either way, it doesn't change the fact that we will want to trade stuff, so let us trade said stuff. Alright, Gelt. How do we do this? First of all, I believe you don't technically buff war wagons, so they can be part of the follower army, and we can trade them for steam tanks. We don't necessarily need 3 cannons. We could keep it to 2, and replace one of them with the 2nd Luminarch. And then I guess replace 2 of the Eldred's Guard with the with 2 Hellblaster volley guns. Or do we replace the Outriders? Right now, 2 steam tanks is not enough of a melee line, though Gelt does buff the Outriders. And technically we're replacing melee with melee in the form of the steam tanks. I mean, sort of melee. But the type of melee that Gelt wants, so yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. The Eldred's Guard can proceed to the 2nd army, together with all this follower stuff. For example, 2 Eldred's Guard and war wagons. And you know what? Just give them everything. We don't need as much range in this particular army, and in fact, I don't think we need the halberdiers either. You can keep the war wagon here, and you know what, I think I'd like you to get another sniper war wagon, and then we'll get rid of the crossbows and replace them with more artillery. Gelt is all about the artillery, after all. And yeah, he likes the handgunners too, but I like his army this way. It's pretty neat. Anyway, with that, we should be able to auto-resolve all this. Yes, yes, looks like nobody does. And that's now ours. Well, not really, sort of ours. The Mace of Hellstorm. Not bad. Enables magical attacks is the main thing there. Another coachman as well. And another student as well, yes. Absolutely fantastic. We really, really need more research. What was I going to take away? I was going to take away the Mace of Hellstorm. Yes, we'll give that to a proper lord, not fairy here. I don't want to get rid of those units, however. Aldebras Meyer will eventually be leading all of the Eldred's Guard as they get replaced out of Gelt's army and into his in favor of steam tanks, but it'll be a while until we have that number of steam tanks available to us. For now, I guess you guys can stick around. Maybe we'll send these somewhere, maybe to hold something. We'll do something with them, I'm sure. We'll trade the place away shortly as well. Anyway, who's up next? Who can still move? Bernard, we've checked you. Helmut, we've checked you. Balthazar, you were the last to move. Marcus. Marcus, you are still in the situation. So we're going to move back across this. We really just need to ambush Mazda Mundi. It'll work eventually, but I guess we just keep trying. You're going to move out here, like so. Across the water here. I want to move far enough from Pahwaks such that... wait. You know what? Maybe we actually send you instead back to one of the... we can't do it this turn. I was gonna say, and just start recruiting more units. Just to send at the enemy. Why not? Keep doing it. Yeah, so we need to ambush Mazdamundi and destroy his army, because we can't take Pahwaks until we do, at least not with this army. The other option would be to get some elites, but we don't have enough, allegiance with anybody to get any of the elites we want here, like Ironbreakers, or anything that would hold the line better. Kurt Helborg and your plague. Oh, the plague. Oh, the plague. You guys have no concept of how salty I am about it. You know what? I know that we're plagueinated, but we might want to fight Throg next turn. Get the buff for defeating him. It's only anti-large, so it's not a huge one, but at the same time, take Yechich so we can trade it back to our friends here, and then hopefully lose the plague while we take back some of this stuff and trade them also to our friends. But that is then going to be left to next episode. Gregor von Blutten, we don't need to move you, and Heinz Weber, and the rest of you. Ah, yes, there is also the attack on the Tower of Crack. Though it is fairly weak looking, we might be able to auto-resolve it, in fact. Because Azazel is dead, most likely he will revive the proper army elsewhere, and we can just take out his minions here, including the tower. And I guess what's important is who we trade it to. Either way, Boris, you're going to... Wait, can I not select you? Why can I not select you? Oh, you're in camp. Alright, now you are attacking this. Should be auto-resolvable. When's your next 2-token guard, by the way? 8 turns? Yeah, okay, a little bit of a while. And this is actually outside the center. Oh, that's bad for you, my friend. That's really bad for you. Let's move you in. Hopefully into range. Dirk Sido, also into range. We're obviously going to be swapping a lot of these troops around, but we'll do it later. Then you are going to attack Arbal, who will draw out the forces of the Tower of Crack into an easy little auto-resolve. There's absolutely no need to fight this. We have just ridiculous numerical superiority. This will allow us to, I guess, pardon the captives, and then take the tower. Wolfric Unberogen, you do not need that Pigeon Plucker pendant, and Dirk Sido, you don't need that other stuff either. Ferryman, damn, no new student, but it's okay. We're gonna occupy the place. We could sack and occupy, but it's not like we really need the money right now. And then we'll trade it to our allies. Anyway, with that, we're out of time, and I'm gonna have to call the episode here next time. We will probably be fighting Throggy here with Reichsmarshal Kurt Helborg, while Ludwig Schwarzhelm, his rival, continues his move up north, probably towards Helpit, though I actually like to stop by and grab Castle Alexandrinov, mostly to trade it to our allies. If we could do this right, we could give this part of Norska, like the southern part of Norska, to the Orthodoxy, whereas this part of Norska maybe to Kislev, and then all of this to Boris, and then they can act as our northern bulwark, because these red territories are just a waste of our time. Anyway, we'll see if that works out. Stay tuned for more Karl. Don't forget to leave a like and comment, especially, as I've said, are really important towards the latter portions of campaigns as they get older and interest wanes. All glory to the algorithm. Check out the Malekith campaign, and thanks for watching.